sister, and Gary was 2 years older than I was. I think that one thing Gary disdained the most was mediocrity. He dared to be different. He was not afraid to challenge the norm. He was willing to take a chance and ask why. He was definitely, as you all know that worked with him and have lived with him, was an individualist. He did not follow the herd, but followed his own heart and thought for himself. Here's just a few examples I'd like to share with you about being his younger sister. I definitely looked up to him. My girlfriends would love when I invited him over when his band was going to practice in the basement. Boy, I was something then. I was in like 7th grade and he was in 9th. And he would even have my mom up in the kitchen singing, Gloria, Gloria. I mean, she'd be doing the dishes to it. I mean, they would come, and it was just always so much fun when they were there. When I was in junior high and he had just started high school, his band, they called them the Rebels, they would come to my sock hops at my junior high and play. Now tell me that didn't help my popularity. It did. I remember one time when Gary wanted to buy a pair of Beatle boots when the Beatles were first out. I thought my father would go through the roof. He said, "You're not wearing those pointy things with the zipper up the back. I don't care how much they cost." And Gary saved his own money, and they were $15, I can remember, because it was talked about a lot. And he bought them with his own money. Another thing I remember about him was one time he was sick and he stayed home from school, and my mom sewed a lot, and she was making something, and he begged her to let him try using the sewing machine. So I remember coming home that day, and he had made a pair of jeans for my Ken doll. He had taken a pair of his jeans and cut, had that left over from the cutoff, and his detail was unbelievable. He even stitched in gold, by hand, gold thread, the fly front and the little pockets on the back. I mean, it did have an elastic waistband, but other than that, they were his design. One time he was telling his friends when he was in high school, and Joy, you will remember this, he told his friends in high school that he could sew and they didn't believe him. So he invited them over, got the sewing machine out, set it up on the kitchen table, and made a jumpsuit for Todd and Paul's mom, Joy. And, it proved his point. Another time, I remember him coming home from the University of Arizona. He walked in the door and my dad said, "Oh my God, it's Jesus Christ!" And Gary came in and his hair was down to here and his beard was down to here and his hair was kind of red, and he did just look like, and we had a picture of him with like the flash going off in the background with like a halo, and we all swore it was Jesus Christ. Gary, I think, loved the shock effect. But darn it, Gary, this shock is not a good one. I just wish he could have done without this one. In the words of Neil Young, in the song, and Ian said he loved Neil Young, I do too. On the way home, when the dream came, I held my breath with my eyes closed. I went insane, like a smoke ring day when the wind blows. Now I won't be back till later on, if I do come back at all. But you know me, and I miss you now. What can I say? Gary always marched to the beat of a different drummer. If a man loses pace with his companions, perhaps it's because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however it is measured, or however far away. I love Gary. I love him to death. I miss him so much.